What's going on, everybody? We are live at Exhibitor Live. This is Event Marketing Redefined. I have Marsha Bivins here with me from Pioneer RX. She is the Director of Marketing and Events. Marsha, thanks for being here.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do it. First off, what brings you to Exhibitor Live?
I'm working on my CTSM.
Oh, nice. How do you like the classes so far?
A lot of really good takeaways.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What's a good takeaway? Anything like in particular that like stood out to you maybe?
This morning was pretty interesting, but I would say the thing that stuck out to me the most, and it was a couple of online classes at Graphics Bootcamp. One of the speakers had a 5x5 rule that I loved, and it was, if a 5-year-old can't read your message in 5 seconds, you failed.
That's excellent.
And then the other one that was my favorite little tip was font size. You know, thinking that everybody is walking around with perfect 20 by 20 vision. And it's a great example because, like, I walked around for the longest time thinking, oh, I can see things fine. And then I was goofing around one day. I put on a friend's glasses and it was like, crap, I need glasses. Yeah. And so and then he had basically a math set for this is the minimum font size you should use. So for my industry, I would say the youngest person walking the trade show floor, 65, 70 at the highest.
Oh, wow.
And he said, take that, your oldest age audience, divide it by 2, and then plus 4, and that is the smallest font size, the minimum font size that you should use on a booth.
I've never thought of that.
I wouldn't have either. And it was like a really good tip, especially working with graphic designers. And
I love what you said about like the messaging. Like it's got to be super clear. Your story, your narrative, like the problem you solve for your customer, essentially, and delivering that. Being here at Exhibitor Live, what are you hoping to get out of the event? Is there anything in particular you're wanting to hear about and learn about?
So I've been doing trade shows for our company for close to 15 years.
Yeah.
I've been doing it all from just the cuff of my sleeve and just winging it, and I'm OCD, and so that's helped it.
Probably good.
But I would say, so far the classes, I'm learning so much about like setting programs and other additional things that are going to be really helpful to grow in my profession.
I'm glad to hear that. That's really good. I think the CTSM classes are very good. They're extremely valuable. I wish more people like yourself knew about them, right? Because I think they're really helpful.
I wish I would have known about it years ago.
Yeah. Well, here you are, right?
I'm here now.
Yep. Tell me a little bit about how you're going to take things back from the classes and go apply them. You're going to apply them right away? Do you have plans already? Are you thinking about anything?
So game books. We haven't really done game books as far as, this is the event plan and this is how we're executing and all this stuff. I've just, like I said, I've just done it. I'm like, this is what we're doing? Cool, let's just do it. And there's a lot more planning and structure that higher executives look for, especially in a private equity world.
Like that. So tell me a little bit, you said like, you were telling me off air, we were talking a little bit, like your story of like, in marketing, and then they were like, oh, well, hey, we're going to run an event. And then all that's kind of like snowballed into your career in events and trade shows.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit how this was, I don't want to use the term dumped on your lap, right? But dumped on your lap. You don't really know exactly what you're doing event marketing wise, right? And you got to figure it out. Tell me how you did that.
So our product went live 13 years ago in its first pharmacy. We started going to trade shows probably a little over 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it was just looking at the state associations and then starting there. And then after we hit 500 customers or a little over 500 customers, my boss approached me and said, I want to start having a trade show.
Okay.
And with software, any software, especially in the industry that I'm in, which is pharmacy, is so many things are evolving and changing. And our software, we do rapid updates. So what that means is we take 10 steps forward and 2 steps back.
Okay.
Update is a really scary word in my industry.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
And so because there's so many updates as far as what pharmacists are more capable of doing now, like, do you know that you can go to your pharmacy and you can get your flu shot there, that you can get tested for flu at your pharmacy?
Yeah.
They can even check your blood pressure or any of that other kind of stuff. If you're one of the patients that qualify in diabetes or heart disease, then they can actually monitor you monthly and report that back to your doctor. And we capture that all in our data. So in order to keep up with the rapid changes that we do and educate our customer base, we started doing a user meeting, a yearly user meeting that allowed not just the programmers, but the super users how to properly, teach you how they're doing, like something we say MedSync.
Yeah.
And so that got thrown in my lap. We started with 250 customers at the event, 17 vendors, and last year we had over 900 attendees and 72 vendors.
That's awesome.
And so our event this year is June. I've already sold out on exhibit space. I've got more vendors that want to come. So it's just creating an event that gives value to the vendors, which is the biggest thing.
So I think you just nailed that. And I was going to ask you that. What is the value, right? Essentially, like I think the fact that you're doing it is cool. So how did you land on the value that you drive to those people for this event? And like, give me a little bit of insight into your process and how you've done this.
Okay. So as one of the good things about being a vendor before actually being a show host is learning what things as a vendor annoy vendors the most. Like the walk around tickets, like, hey, can you stamp my card? I'm not interested in what you're selling, or I just need your signature so I can throw this ticket in there. And just finding the things to avoid, and then finding the things that worked and going, that's a good idea. How can I do that?
Yeah.
Or, like the lunch exhibits. We open up our exhibit hall 30 minutes early to make sure I feed the vendors before I release.
It's cool.
Hundreds of attendees.
It's the little
on
things
them.
sometimes, right?
It's the little
Details.
things, yes. And I've even got compliments. They appreciate that.
It's really good. I like hearing that. It's kind of like your proudest moment so far. You said 15 years you've been in events and trade shows?
15 years I've been in the pharmacy industry.
Nice.
I would say 10 years, 13 years we've been doing trade shows.
It's like your proudest moment.
The proudest moment, I would say our event is my baby.
Yeah.
And it's been real exciting to watch our customer base. Like, I went into the first beta location.
Okay.
And this year we are hitting 6,000 user locations on our platform. Watching the yearly user event also grow to the size it has. And so, I'd say that it's just the last 15 years has been a really defining, just really prideful moment.
Good for you. That's awesome. That's really awesome. You have any advice for yourself 10, 15 years ago?
15 years ago?
A younger you.
A younger me.
A marketer thrown in the flames saying, hey, here's a $500,000 trade show budget, right? Like, or an event we're kicking off. Like, kind of advice. What would you tell them?
I wish I would have found ExhibitorLIVE and CTSM earlier. For sure.
Good plug for them.
15 years ago, though, I had toddlers. I had an infant and a toddler. That would have been hard to kind of fit education into that lifestyle at that moment.
Yeah. You said like learning as you go, right?
Yes.
What were some of like any key moments where you learned you were like, oh, I wish I knew that 5 years ago, or like just key things that happened over time, maybe things that you recognized, identified?
I don't know. I like to think of myself as pretty agile.
And
just continuously looking at things and going, I can make that better. I can make that my own. And just always growing.
It's a good quality to have.
Yeah.
Because you're just constantly like, you're just figuring shit out. You know what I mean? You're just like, that doesn't feel right. I'm going to make a change. Yeah. Nice.
Or like my favorite analogy is if you have kids and you've ever seen the movie The Croods,
I got 3, so.
There you go.
I know the deal.
New is bad. You die with new, and that's not true.
Yeah.
They lived because they got out of their cave.
I like that. That was good. I didn't expect that. That was good. What are you listening to, watching? Like, what kind of any professional development stuff that you're into or content you consume?
I've signed up for a lot of certification courses.
Yeah.
I just found your podcast, so that's going to get added to the list. Really, it's a lot of certification classes right now, other than CTSM and AI marketing.
AI marketing. Nice.
AI is the big buzzword right now.
Yeah. Have you messed with it at all?
Oh, yeah.
Any ChatGPT or anything like that? Have you played around with it? Yeah.
I use it to write my emails.
Not what? Do you really?
Yes.
What, like, to who? Like just anything? Like if you're stuck or you...
If you know how to navigate the prompts of ChatGPT It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
I would say one of my favorites that my friend plays with, and so we'll go to a bar, and we'll tell, the prompt is, you're a professional bartender. You like tequila. Your favorite movie is, Dirty Dancing, and I like spicy. Make me a drink. And then it makes the drink for you. It tells you how to mix it. It even just gives you like how you put it on the menu and what the tasting notes are.
Yeah.
And then we've given it to a bartender and said, can you make this drink? And it's made. Bartenders will soon be making AI drinks.
That's cool. I like that.
Highly recommend that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Last thing I want to ask you here is, where kind of challenges do you have, right? Managing and running events, trade shows for your company. Like, what kind of challenges do you currently have? Anything you're worried about? Anything that you're, problem you're wanting to solve? Anything like that?
I would say my biggest challenge is just not knowing anything, and have been figuring out everything from scratch and by myself. And I would say that walking away from this event, I will definitely be a lot more proficient at my job.
I like that you're curious enough, like thinking like, God, I just don't know everything, right? Like, I'm constantly seeking more information. Like you mentioned the playbook, like installing a playbook in upfront and things like that. I think that curiosity is super key, and obviously seems like it's gotten you to where you are now, right? When you were just throwing the book, like, hey, here you go, have at it. That's cool. Good. How's the event been so far for you? Day and a half, right? It's not really that long.
Day and a half. I'm like, this is day one. So this is, you were my first exhibit hall booth. So kudos there.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm about to start walking the exhibit hall and start figuring out some things. So I'm more interested in event software.
Event software?
Yes.
Have you looked into any thus far? Any that you're looking at?
I mean, my only experience with event software has been Cvent and RegFox, which got bought by Cvent.
Yep.
And then they sunset it. And then Reg Online.
Okay. And you're going to use it for your host event, your big one.
So I've been using Reg Online because it's more cost effective and it does what I need it to do.
Yeah.
And my experience with Cvent in the past, which maybe we should cut out the names, is that my experience with a more larger event software has been that it was overpriced and I wanted to bash my head on the desk just putting it together. The event, it was not seamless. It was not easy. Trying to get support was not amazing.
So you're looking for something simpler?
I'm looking for something that works.
Yeah.
And is not going to break my budget.
Nice. Cool. I think there's a lot of cool options. We can talk later about it. I have some decent connections and people I know that either own those companies or work in them. And we've actually, on our podcast, we've had a few of them come on and talk about their capabilities, the direction that they're going.
Yeah.
So we can jam about that later.
Fantastic.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you for making us your first stop. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you.
And congrats on all your success. And I think it's super cool that you're curious and you're learning at this stage to still be wanting to know more and get better. I think it's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.